Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome back to the BRL Tier 2 Championship. We are now halfway through the season, round 5. So we've got the Belgium Grand Prix today. Oh, we're just waiting for the drivers to get sorted in the lobby. Let's take a look at our current standings while we're at it. So, let's start off with our driver standings for today. So, in first place, we have got Robsu on a 92. And second place is Resurrection with 80. 12-point gap there. Third, we have Melv on 74. Now, these top three have put in some fantastic competition over the last few races. I have the ones that I have been commentating that I've seen. They have been putting in some really good fights. And most of the grid has as well, so let's keep going down the grid. So in fourth, we have Baz on 68. Fifth is Jimmy on 54. Sixth, we have Aero, 52. Seventh, we have Harinator on 38. On 8th, we have Nico with 37. 9th is BGR on 34. 10th is Alex on 29. 11th, JR at 26 on 20. 12th, San is on 19. 13th, Arm is on 18. 14th, Sof is on 17. 15th, Chia is on 15. 16th, Ali is on 14. 17th, Little Eric is on 9. 18, Numo in 18th on 9. Sheepers on 19th at 8. And finally, Spider with 6 in 20th. Now we're halfway through the season, we are starting to see quite a few larger gaps start to open up between the drivers. Mainly the drivers, there isn't too much of a massive gaps between the constructors, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But with the drivers especially, these gaps are starting to form. The top 3 are the ones to look at, as we are expecting them to, push their way up. It's going to be good to see. Right, let's move on to our constructor standings. In first place, we currently have Mercedes sitting on a 126. In second, we have Ferrari on a 98. Third is AlphaTauri sitting on an 89. Mercedes being the first team in the entirety of BRL, Tier 1 and Tier 2, to break the 100-point barrier, which is great to see. They have managed to open up that large gap between them and Ferrari. Just hope the drivers can keep it up for the rest of the next half of the season. Then in fourth, Alpine, they moved up, and Williams have also moved up. Red Bull fallen down 2 spots. Haas sitting in 7th with 53. Aston Martin in 8th on 49. McLaren on 9th at 48. And finally, Alfa Romeo in 10th on 38. Still not massive gaps, but there is still room for positions to move and constructors to make their way up or down the standings. So, hopefully today we will see some great competition happening, especially with Belgium today. Not everyone's favourite track because it sometimes lacks some grip, but we'll see how it goes. I am hoping to see some more movement, especially with Alpine and Williams moving their way up. It's been quite good to see. Red Bull being pushed down to 6th, though, that's not going to be great for them. With Williams, we need to see if currently their Williams top driver is Jimmy. If he can pull off a good race in the coming 5 Grand Prix we have left, maybe he can push Alpine onto the podium. But with AlphaTauri sitting at 89, there is still a considerable gap that he'll need to close, along with the teammate he is paired up with, whether it be a reservist or the full-time seat. Down in the lower part of the constructors as well, there's definitely a lot of room for movement, especially between, if we look like McLaren, Aston Martin and Haas. There is quite a bit of room for movement there. Even with Red Bull not being too far ahead of Haas, there is still a chance for Red Bull to make their way back up as well. Not a massive gap between them and Williams. Alright, we have gone through all the standings now, and in perfect time as well, as quali has just started. Our first drivers are getting on their outlaps. So let's get to seeing what kind of lap times we get set today. Alright, get almost set up. Four cars making their way out of the pits now. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the competition then that we start to see between the drivers, especially, but there's not too massive gaps in between them. There's definitely a lot of room for movement there. All depends on how the drivers can perform, especially if Baz can catch up with that considerable lead that Robson is managing to hold currently. But there is still room for the drivers lower down the grid as well to make their way up. You just need to have a good race to be able to push them up. Now we've got Baz, first driver, to start his actual laps. Nico as well now out on an actual lap. The constructors as well was one to look at, as the gaps between them aren't massive. I mean, yeah, Mercedes have managed to secure quite a confident lead, sitting at, I believe it was 126. Just depends if the drivers can keep up that effort in order to keep them up in that position. Like, right now we only have one Mercedes driver in this Grand Prix, which is Robson. And he is also currently on top of the driver standings. It's going to be one to see if he can keep that. Most of the drivers starting actual laps now. Still got a few on the pits, which is a bit surprising. Huntilla currently setting the fastest lap at 1:45.7. Nico's also setting an actual lap at 47.03. Our new fastest lap from FML setting 42.5. Looks like we... Oh! See what I mean with this track has a lack of grip with Jimmy going off that burn, like corner there. Almost hitting the wall. Got both the Williams currently holding first at podium and second, with FML on a 42.5 and Jimmy on a 43.01. Aaron is third with a 143.536. Sheep has now managed to push his way just past Jimmy by literally 0.015. It's going to be great to the competition though, and hopefully today we'll see more good fights between, especially for the Drivers' Championship. But even with the Constructors, like I said, the short point gaps are going to be something for the drivers to look out for. How can they push themselves up, or even just hold their position as current? With 10 minutes and 20 seconds of qualifying remaining. Only 8 drivers have set a time so far. Melv now managed to push his way into second place. Oh, we've just been pushed down. All of them have just been pushed down by Resurrection, setting a 42.23. Do need to double check something. I do not believe there are any quali bans in effect this Grand Prix. But you never know. Got Ali House pushing his way to third with a 42.6. See if he's going to be the push that McLaren needs to move up the grid, being the only McLaren driver on the track today. Until has already retired from the session. But 14 out of our 17 drivers have currently set lap times. Got 8 minutes of qualifying remaining. I think it's as well, I heard Tier 1 have had a wet qualifying. which will definitely be entertaining to see how the start of their actual race, their grid lineup ends. But we have ended up with a wet race in Tier 2. So meaning we are going to have drivers on wet, maybe some inters, we'll see. Robsu, currently setting a 43.806. Currently holding the top of the drivers' standings, as well as his team is holding the top of the constructor standings. Oh, skidded off the track there, heading into the pits. But no, Robsu is definitely performing really well, which is what's helping Mercedes to form that gap in the constructor standings, as well as allowing him to currently hold first place in the Drivers' Championship. Whether he keeps hold of that position though is yet to be seen. And you have one driver currently who hasn't set a lap time, which is Daedric. He is currently out though. See what time he can push for himself. Resurrection is still holding the fastest lap time at 42.23. Three minutes 50 remaining qualifying. Resurrection still holding pole at 42.23. With FML in second. Oh, Daedric taking second with a 42.509. FML being pushed on to third with a 42.569. 0.06 of a second difference between those two. Ali House sitting in fourth at 42.644. Melv sitting in fifth at a 42.839. Sheepers in sixth at a 43.001. Melv has just pushed his way up to third with a 42.555. But Jimmy right now in 7th on a 43.016. Arm on 8th at a 43.191. So just bear with me for 1 minute, I will be right back.
Spa Francorchamps is located in Ardennes, not Spa. The modern track is roughly 7 kilometres or 4.352 miles long and contains a total of 19 turns. This is roughly half the length of the original circuit. Despite Ferrari's success at Spa,
Extremely sorry about that. I have returned. It's currently sitting at 1 minute remaining qualifying now. A couple drivers trying to get last laps in. Even Resurrection on an outlap. Alright, we're coming into the end of qualifying now. Few drivers squeezing last laps in. Last few drivers finishing up their last laps with 1 minute 55 remaining. Resurrection setting another fast lap at 42.017. Alright. Looks like that's all the drivers done for now. Let's take a look at how the grid is going to be laid out. Gonna have Resurrection starting pole, Ali House second, FML in third, with Arm in fourth, Daedric fifth, Melv in sixth, F1ology in seventh, Sheepers in eighth, ninth is Jimmy, 10th is Chia, 11th is Robsu, 12th BGR, 13th is Harinator, 14th Bazbrains, 15th Nico, 16th CDR, and 17th is Huntilla. With qualifying over now, we're going to move on to our actual race of the actual Belgian Grand Prix for today. With the rainy race today, I'm sure the drivers are going to love this. Alright. And off we go. CDR already with a penalty for a jump start. We're already seeing a lot of movement. Daedric up to second. Resurrection taking the lead. FML making his way up. Holy Jesus! There is Arm out of the session, got a virtual safety car. Straight away on lap 1. What appeared to be a couple of the cars skidded out and then slammed into the wall. Not sure if Aaron got pushed or whether he just slid out. Okay, we've got the actual safety car now out on the track. Oh my goodness. That was mental. Lap 1, we already got the safety car out. All the drivers currently on inters. That is devastating there. We've had the safety car already come out on lap 1. Aram is not going to be pleased with that one. After such a good qualifying as well. The drivers make their way towards the safety car. With Resurrection still leading the group. So they're now behind. We've got two drivers, Melv and Ali, both going to the pits already. not a great start to this Grand Prix at all. If with a track like this, it's going to take a while, especially if the safety car decides to stay out another lap. Anyhow, just needing to catch up with the pack now. Horrible start to this Grand Prix. That has just been a terrible start. The safety car is staying out for another lap. No. Daedric almost with the illegal overtake. Crash already bringing the competition to a screeching halt. Just I'll wait to see when the safety car goes back in. Still seeing movement in the grid. Guessing that's just accidental overtakes, and because they do seem to be correcting it. Well, taking a blatant illegal overtake on Daedric there. Under safety car conditions, unless they have been told. They're still moving. It's like safety car's going to be in this lap. His drivers are now fighting to warm their tyres up ready. Safety car is in. Safety car now in. We are back to racing. Green flag, off we go. Now we're going to start to see some movement in the grid once again. Resurrection still managing to keep that lead throughout the entirety of the before the incident, and then straight after the safety car managing to build that gap up. FML is still right with him though. So whether he manages to keep hold of that position is yet to be seen. Alley House now as well as retired. And another safety car. So I'm guessing he's crashed out. I was not paying attention. That is on me. Watch that back. Attila and F1 now moving to pit. Attila receiving a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Seen pushing his way up the grid. Got a slight battle first going on between Resurrection and FML. With FML coming out on top as they come to the safety car. The second safety car of the race, and we are only on lap 5. Not pay the safety car will be going in this lap, so we still have safety car 4, lap 6 as well. A slight bit of what looked like contact between the drivers there. Resurrection now in first. Unsure as why. Oh, I accidentally bumped my microphone, sorry. We've got most of the drivers bunched up together now. Safety cars in this lap.